Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 90-day reading plan, today's reading is 1 Chronicles 3, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, here in the United States, we tend to see ourselves as a melting pot. Very few of us are 100% of what our ancestors were. For example, my surname, Jacobus, originates from Holland, and it may go all the way back to Judaism because the book of James, which is written by a Jew, is spelled Jacobus in Greek. However, my father married a woman whose lineage comes from France. Her maiden name was Blanchard, and so I am somewhat French and somewhat Dutch. My wife is from the island of Crete, Greece, so our children are half Greek and whatever I am for the rest of them. Yet, all of our children and many of our grandchildren are Christians. They have all come from God's family or coming into God's family, and the younger grandchildren may grow up or will grow up, and my expectation is that most, if not all, will get a relationship with Christ. So those who make up God's church come from various backgrounds and various ethnicities. Yet they all have one thing in common. They all have trusted Christ, and if they have a relationship with him, they are a member of the universal church. Well, this is why it's so difficult for me to understand why we as Christians do certain things and think certain ways. Sometimes we look at people and we judge them based on their background rather than on their relationship with Christ. It makes it difficult for us personally to apply what Christ asked God to do in John 17 when he asked that we all have a relationship with each other like he has with God the Father. Now, I somewhat understand the secular struggles that people have with peoples of different cultures or ethnicities and even countries and language. If there's no relationship with Christ, then everything that they think about and do is based upon their sin nature. But I cannot understand why two believers who are from different backgrounds ethnically cannot get along. This is obviously caused also by sin. Now, I'm hopeful that the next generation of believers will have seen the struggle that this generation of believers have gone through and will decide to change that trajectory themselves. Certainly, not all believers struggle with that ethnicity or culture. Each one of us has the Spirit of God within him or her if she has a relationship with Christ. We should all look at each believer as one whom God has saved and look at the other non-believers as those to whom we can show Christ's love and bring them to a relationship with Christ.